Hey there, what's up internet? My name is BlackLightAttack, and today I've got another NU battle for you. This time it's against a fella named CharizardTakesFlight, and just looking at the teams, we have some pretty interesting team setups. We got a lot of things that aren't seen too often, some that are. For him, he's got Butterfree on his team. Basically, just Butterfree is the only thing that I see as a common threat, to give credit to him. And then I have quite a few common threats, such as Mischievous and Camerupt and Vileplume, and to a certain extent Seismitoad and probably Sawsbuck. But the thing about this team is, even though it looks pretty typical, none of these Pokemon are actually running their typical sets, save maybe debatably Camerupt. Camerupt is running a bulky attacker set with no speed investment, instead going for HP investment. Now, you would think that Shiftry would be the prime suspect here, probably the biggest threat to my team because it's a grass type, and I've got two Pokemon that are 4 times weak to grass, but I do have Vileplume, who's got a 4 times resistance to grass, and a Sap Sipper Sawsbuck, say that 3 times fast, who has a complete immunity to grass, so I'm actually not too worried about that. So let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to lead off with my Camerupt, which is pretty typical for me, and he leads off with his Butterfree, which I expected, to be honest. I was kind of hoping that wasn't the case so I could get my Stealth Rocks up and really punish it for coming in later, but I assume he's going to go for the Sleep Powder, so I switch right into my Sawsbuck to absorb it and get the Sap Sipper boost. Now, this Sawsbuck, which he doesn't know at this point, is a 100% pacifist build. He's only meant for baton passing. He doesn't have a single attack. He's got Substitute, Agility, Baton Pass, and I think Swords Dance. Yeah, Swords Dance. So I set up a Substitute hoping to scare him out since Butterfree is very frail. He doesn't seem too scared though, so he just goes straight for a Bug Buzz, breaking my Substitute, which is quite unfortunate. So I figure get out while I can, while I'm ahead, and I Baton Pass out to my Seismitoad since I have a +1 attack boost from the Sap Sipper. I figure he's going to go for Bug Buzz again, expecting me to go for another Substitute, and I expect Seismitoad, even though he's a physical wall on this team, this is a physically defensive Seismitoad. I figure that he can take the Bug Buzz pretty well. What I don't realize is that Butterfree carries Energy Ball. That was a huge shock to me. I did not know that. I am not afraid to admit that I had no idea that Butterfree carries Energy Ball. That is totally new to me. So I guess you lose and you learn. So I go into my Mischievous, knowing that he can't really do too much, or I'm sorry, Mischievous, knowing that he can't do too much to it, and I'm expecting him to Quiver Dance in this thing, expecting it to be the specially defensive variant, but it's not. It's actually a Taunt Nasty Plot Sweeper. So I'm going to Taunt, and seeing that I got a Heatmore instead of taunting a Butterfree, I figure I can live an attack, and I go for the Nasty Plot. Now I'm going to hit a Shadow Ball, hoping that I can KO from this range. I don't know what sort of bulk Heatmore has because I've never actually fought one before. And he just barely lives and takes out my Mischievous with another Fire Blast, which is unfortunate, but it is a double down. But now I am 2 down and he's only 1 down, so things aren't looking too hot for me right now. I've lost my physical wall and one of my surprise sweepers. The reason I went for the taunt against the Butterfree is because Mischievous actually outspeeds with full speed investment, outspeeds the Butterfree. Now, I actually predict his prediction. He's predicting me to go out into Sawsbuck to absorb another Sleep Powder, but I actually predict this and figure that he's either going to do it for a Substitute or a Quiver Dance or a Bug Buzz, and any of those Camerupt doesn't really mind because he can just trade it with a Flamethrower. Surprisingly, he has a Focus Sash, but luckily for me, he gets the burn and dies off anyway, so it ends up being a 1-hit KO anyway. That was quite a bit of luck. Don't worry, he will get me back for that. So he sends out his Sol Rock, and we decide to trade Stealth Rocks here. I've been wanting to get up Stealth Rocks all game, although now that Butterfree's dead, I'm not really sure what the point is. I would love to be able to phase this guy out with Roar, but unfortunately I went with Will-O-Wisp instead, and I don't think Sol Rock is that big of a physical threat, so I'm not even going to bother with that. I'm expecting an Earthquake, because I think Solrock gets Earthquake, so I'm going to go into my Sawsbuck, knowing that he resists that. He sets up a Light Screen, and I'm figuring this has to be a defensive support build, so I'm free to just set up in this thing's face. So I go for the Substitute so I can set up on the switch, but no, he explodes, which was amazing to me. I actually went for the Substitute, actually expecting the switch, but at the same time I figured it can also serve as a scouting ability, because I'm pretty sure Solrock gets a fire attack somewhere along the line because he's like the fucking sun or something. But luckily for me, he explodes right on my Substitute, which is awesome. So now I'm still sitting at no boost. He sends out a Luxray, and for some reason I was thinking in my head at this time that Luxray was a more defensive Pokemon because I read like a weird build that Luxray had on a forum. that was because of his Intimidate ability. Even though he's only got moderate bulk, due to his Intimidate ability, he can serve as a pseudo-physical wall and switch into a lot of attacks. But I didn't realize that he actually has an outstanding attack stat. I thought he had a more defensive build, but he's got like 130 base attack. Luckily for me, his attacks aren't that good. He doesn't have a really good move pool, and now he's at -1 with the superpower. And I got to scout that. I went for the substitute looking for a scout, and I know that with him at -1 and Vileplume, even though he's a special wall, being able to resist that, I know he's going to be able to take that pretty well. So I go into Vileplume, hoping to scare him out, or you know, if he is, for some reason I'm still thinking he's a defensive build, even though, you know, he's trying to superpower me. I'm hoping that I can just, you know, set up in his face. Not set up, but, you know, just stall him out. So I go for the Sludge Bomb. He switches into Wartortle. I was kind of hoping he'd switch into Shift Tree, expecting a grass attack, and I would hit him with the Sludge Bomb, but that doesn't work out too well. I expect him to go for the Rapid Spin here. I'm not too concerned about keeping rocks up, so I'm just going to go for the Giga Drain. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that much because he still has the light screen up. It wears off after this turn. I knew that Poison, the Sludge Bomb, would do a lot of damage to Shift Tree, even though the light screen was up, because that thing has pretty poor special defenses, but oh well, he doesn't even bother Shift Tree. He's really saving that Shift Tree. So now that his light screen is down, I go for the Sludge Bomb, knowing that the only thing, I do know that this thing does carry the Ice Fang, but I'm like, nobody carries Ice Fang, that's a shitty attack. Then he Ice Fangs me, of course. And I'm thinking, you know, Ice Fang is a really low base power move. Turns out this guy is choice banded, and I didn't realize he has 130 base attacks. So that does a lot of damage, and just to rub salt in the wounds, I don't get to trade an attack because he freezes me. Now, here, this was kind of a mistake. I decided to save my Vileplume for death fodder, knowing that Camerupt is probably going to be able to take 2 of those Ice Fangs. Looking at that, you would think I was wrong, but it doesn't matter because he freezes me again. He gets 2 freezes in a row. Very unfortunate for me. That's all the hacks getting all up on me in this game. But he does actually live 2 attacks to Camerupt's credit. Again, he's running a bulky attacker build, but it doesn't really matter because he's frozen. Now I have no choice but to sit here and let my Camerupt die when I could have hit him with a super effective Earth Power. Quite unfortunate. So now I'm realizing all I've got is a Relicanth, a Sawsbuck with no attacks, and a frozen Vileplume. So I decide to make a huge gambit. I go into my Sawsbuck, scaring him out with the attack. And because why would you switch into a Sawsbuck when your opponent is locked into Ice Fang? So I go for the agility on the switch, go for a substitute to scout the attack, because I know I can make one more substitute, hoping that he's going to try to set up or something and I get to keep a substitute. No such luck. He's just going to break my substitute with a Dark Pulse. And at least now I know this thing is especially offensive, but my gambit did pay off because now I have an agility under my belt, and that is fucking key. Because now I'm going to baton pass out to the man himself, Relicanth. Here comes Relicanth with an agility, and now you better be scared of this fish because he's a fast fish. I know that Relicanth has some pretty impressive bulk. He's got a really nice HP stat, I think base 100 HP, which is a lot in NU. And he doesn't have any sort of boosts or anything. I think this guy actually might be Specs because I don't know, maybe he's leftovers or something, but with Relicanth's pretty nice, okay attack stat, 90 attack stat. That head smash is going to rock that Shift Tree. So he goes into his Luxray, which is really smart because he gets an Intimidate, and then he pulls a double switch so that when he comes in next, now I see what he's doing. Very nice, I really like that. He's going to double Intimidate me and just sacrifice his Wartortle to the head smash. So here comes the big question. Is he going to live this after 2 Intimidates? Is he going to live this? The answer is no, because my Relicanth is choice banded. Surprise, surprise, he's got an agility and a choice band. It's the only reason I won. Now that may have looked like a bit more of a landslide victory than it actually was, because it was a 3-0, which is usually, like, you know, a pretty good score to have on somebody, but that was really a 1-0 if you think about it, because my only Pokemon left were a Sawsbuck that was practically dead with no attacks, and a frozen Vileplume with no health. So Relicanth, you're the man. I love Relicanth for the choice band, especially when I can pass some agilities. But anyway, guys, that'll be it from me. Like the video if you liked it, and of course, Charizard Takes Flight. That was a great game. I had a lot of fun with this game, as I told you in the Smogon chat. His channel is in the description. Please go check him out, and I will talk to you guys later.